weekend is as good and interesting as ever. If you're following all these games, it's great basketball. And I remember going to Penn State, and we had a very good team, and losing to an 0-13 team, like what happened last night. So that's the beauty of the game. I think that's why we love it all so much. Is this race is far from over with so many different teams, and with whether it was Penn State beating Iowa, and or our great win over Purdue, or the way we played against Ohio State, expect the unexpected. And as a result, this is good. This was a good little break for us. The first time we have not had, we've had more than 2 or 3 days for an opponent in almost 2 months, and so I'm sorry, in 5 weeks, I think. So it's good to have, our kids had a day and a half really where we could just let them rest. Forbidden to go to the gym yesterday, Duncan Robinson and a few other guys forbidden to go and get extra shots, stay off your feet, and let's get ready for this next run that we have. Because we got really tough games approaching us in these Final Four, 2 home, 2 away, and it's going to be quite a challenge. So we plan on having a good 2-hour and 5-minute practice today, where we'll get back to something we haven't been able to do in the last really several weeks. Is just skill development, shooting, skill development, defensive development, post defense, etc. So let's see where it goes. Maryland's obviously will not be happy. They'll be very motivated. Remember last time they came in here after winning at Wisconsin at the buzzer, and this time losing to Minnesota. It makes teams really gets themselves really ready for that next game. I know it does with us.
Chris, you want to start us off?
Did the ESPN sideline reporters say that you said that Karras would be only a role player going forward at this point? Was that misunderstood?
No, I never said that.
Okay.
No.
All right, somebody mentioned that. Do you have an update on his status?
Yeah, I believe, and please print my words carefully here, right, that we believe he had we hope he had a temporary setback in that Purdue game, and that we're very optimistic that he will return. But there'll be a time pretty soon where may just have to shut it down as well. So, but we don't know. And that's the way this has gone for a while, and it's not his fault, it's not our fault. It is tough to predict health and the science of health and the rehab of health. And so that's what it is. But he's in slighter pain every day. Unless there's a miracle, we're going to plan on him not practicing or playing against Maryland. But tomorrow he could feel really good, but we're not putting him out there or he's still in pain.
You mentioned that maybe fatigue had something to do with, I think it was after the last game. Are you sensing tired legs on this team?
They've been playing a lot of minutes, right? But that's part of college basketball right now. We got to fight through those things, and there's not a lot. There's a lot of, look at Maryland. It has got 6 or 7 guys out there last night. Duke played 6 or 7 guys the other day. There's a lot of teams that don't have their young guys haven't developed enough yet, or they've had attrition, and so as a result, they're trying to win a game. I heard Phil Martelli say the other day when his point guard went 40 minutes, "Why do you only play 40?" And they said, "Why do you play 40?" He says, "Because it didn't go into overtime, and he would have played 45." It's just that's that time of the year sometimes where you got to do that, do whatever you can to win, because everybody's trying to win a championship or get to the NCAA tournament.
Brendan?
So I guess with that status of Karras, in that instance, do you go into your planning purposes for these next couple of weeks, kind of assuming that you have what you have?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then adjust.
Sure.
And then adjust. We were getting to that point where we were ready to go, and then just feel bad for the kid. He's had. I mean, this is a kid who's a Player of the Year candidate 2 years in a row, and Tom and I just figured out his last 32 possible Big Ten games, he's missed 24. And I think we're like 500 overall, and if you add all those games together, slightly under 5. No, we're over 500. This is I think more about him than us or us. I mean, this is a kid that all the accolades that are going around the country. This is a kid who would deserve all those things.
How's he handling this then?
He is an extremely spiritual and faithful young man that is absolutely amazing how he handles it. absolutely amazing.
And in light of you saying that there was a setback in the Purdue game, just to clarify, in that case, why have him, why do Monday's press conference and that stuff?
But because we don't know, all these things that happen, we don't know when they happen. We know that 5 days later it's still there, then something did happen. Was it just a tweak that the next day he's fine? You don't know, you can't predict these things. So when it still lingers 5 days later like it is today, now we say, okay, he must have done something. There wasn't just residual action. So that's the same. How bad is the sprain? Well, he's still, sometimes a guy sprains an ankle, well, it's just a slight sprain. Well, he's out 3 weeks later, it was more than a slight sprain, but doctor, it's tough to predict those things.
You mentioned the possibility of shutting him down. Is that a conversation that you've had with him?
Yeah, we've been talking about that for a long time. When you get into the last couple of games, and you have what's at stake for him, you got to say, okay, this I got to advise him in the right ways right then. And so if he's not going to be at 100% and risks further injury, then that doesn't make a lot of sense. So we're trying to get him to 100%, and then we can make that decision.
So what has he said during those conversations in terms of, I guess, what's he thinking of?
I think it's ongoing right now. He'd like to play. He would love to play.